Hello, how are you? With the premiere of Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 fast approaching, here's a refresher on major characters and how far they've come from Season 1. If you love the world of anime, be sure to subscribe and set the bell to all. Let's start the video. Kageyama Shigeo. Kageyama Shigeo, more commonly known as the titular mob, is a middle school student and a powerful yeager. He is employed at a spirits and such consultation office under Reigen Arataka. Mob is soft-spoken, physically weak, and rather mediocre when it comes to academics, though he wishes to change that through hard work without relying on psychic powers. He is a member of the Body Improvement Club in the hopes of impressing his longtime crush, Tsubomi. In Season 1, Mob is a lonely child with no connections with people who can truly understand him. Mob associates strong emotions with losing control of his powers, so he attempts to keep his emotions at bay entirely. However, this can lead to catastrophe when he is pushed to the brink and suddenly experiences an emotion at 100% capacity. When Mob reaches 100%, even his unconscious body will suddenly take over with incredibly feats of psychic power. Over the course of Mob Psycho 100, Mob has bonded with people who truly understand him, such as his brother, Kageyama Ritsu, and fellow yeager Hanazawa Teruki, leading to him accepting and expressing his emotions and desires. In a job to help out the possessed daughter of a millionaire, Mob forces his own consciousness into her body along with the evil spirits haunting her, and is tricked into living a mockery of his life for 6 months, during which he has none of the positive relationships his real life is blessed with. Mob is finally able to defeat the spirits and ultimately comes out of the experience with the realization that anyone is able to change, all depending on who they have in their lives, as well as with a deeper appreciation for the people who have shaped him. When the city is attacked by the evil psychic organization Claw, Mob attempts to befriend the enemy leader Suzuki Toichiro, but Suzuki is steadfast in his belief that he is superior due to his psychic abilities. Worse, when they fight, Mob finds that he cannot fight in a way that won't hurt Suzuki. With this realization, Mob starts to get lost in the violence right up until he sees Ritsu, which is enough for Mob to ground himself and win. Miraculously, everyone survives, and Mob's compassionate nature and willingness to reach out with friendship is proved more powerful than brute force. Reigen Arataka. Reigen Arataka is a so-called psychic in his late 20s. He and Mob met when Mob was much younger and was looking for anyone to ask about his powers. At first, Reigen, who is utterly useless when it comes to psychic abilities, didn't think Mob was actually an yeager and gave him the advice to treat psychic powers like any other trait and to just be a good person. However, when Mob actually demonstrated his abilities, Reigen was ecstatic to have a real psychic work alongside him. Ironically, Reigen is very skilled at most of the things he does that don't involve the supernatural. He is persuasive and streetwise with an arsenal of surprise attacks. Reigen also has a very clear idea of right and wrong. Despite being a conman, Reigen is outraged that adult ESPers would attack middle schoolers and always tries to assume responsibility for Mob the best he can. When he and Mob have a falling out, Reigen is quick to realize that he was in the wrong, but puts in the work himself to build his business without asking Mob to return. When the two eventually reconcile, Reigen discovers that Mob has always known he's a fraud, but believes that Reigen's the sun nature is much more important. During Claw's attack, Reigen is made an impromptu leader by many ex-members who have attempted to turn their lives around after Reigen convinced them they were just normal people who had let their powers prevent them from growing emotionally. Reigen may not always know what he's doing, but his own moral code and bag of tricks usually helps him come up with some sort of plan along the way. Kageyama Ritsuo. Ritsuo is Mob's younger brother by 1 year. He didn't grow up with psychic powers and always admired Mob for what he could do, but has also feared what Mob can become when he loses control. In Season 1, Ritsuo constantly reaches out to his brother to be supportive, but Mob rejects his support repeatedly. Ritsuo meets up with Dimple, and the mischievous spirit possesses Ritsuo and awakens his dormant spiritual powers. This leads to Ritsuo being kidnapped by Claw, but when Mob rescues his brother, their relationship becomes stronger than ever. In Season 2, Ritsuo is adjusting to life as an ESPer. When Mob is battling Suzuki, it's the look of absolute horror on Ritsuo's face as he watches his brother being to enjoy the fight that snaps Mob right out of it, showing how Reigen's words might ground Mob, but ultimately it's Mob's relationship with Ritsuo and keeps him from losing himself. Ritsuo is friends with Suzuki's son, Sho, who insists that Ritsuo has the most potential of the two brothers. The two boys connect over that fear of losing a loved one to psychic powers, though for Sho that became a reality. Hanazawa Teruki. Originally the shadow leader of his middle school and an incredible ladies' man, Hanazawa Teruki was always ready to step in and defeat gang members with flair and psychic powers. He and Mob are the first other ESPers they encounter, and Teru immediately tries to defeat Mob, who attempts to talk him down about not using psychic powers against others. Teru is enraged to find someone too casually talented as he is, and continues to attack Mob, hoping to provoke a reaction. However, even when Teru has his hands around Mob's neck, Mob refuses to use his powers, which is when an unknown percentage awakens, using Mob's unconscious body to destroy the school and throw Teru up into the sky. There, Teru realizes he never stood a chance, and when Mob's sadness pulls the school back together, Teru comes back changed. He's willing to use his power against organizations like Claw, but otherwise wants to adopt a more Mobian stance of improving who he is as a person. He is still confident and a natural leader, but more aware of his limitations. Serizawa Katsuya. Serizawa Katsuya is a man in his late 20s who spent most of his life cooped up alone so his psychic powers, urged on by his anxiety, would not hurt anyone. Suzuki Toichiro discovered him and took advantages of his fragile emotional state and naivety, making Sorizawa feel indebted to him for helping him leave his room. When Suzuki makes his move on the city, Sorizawa tries hard to justify it, but when he tries to stop Mob from confronting Suzuki, Mob is easily able to persuade him that no one with good intentions would be acting this way. And when Mob offers friendship, Sorizawa accepts. He turns against Suzuki and saves Riegan from almost certain death and is employed by spirits and such after Suzuki is arrested. He still deals with a great amount of anxiety but is out of the influence of a man who manipulated that to serve his own agenda and has both Mob and Riegan as a support system. So thank you for watching this video and devoting your valuable time to us. If you want to see our other videos, don't forget to tap the subscribe button. Goodbye until another video from AnimeVid.